Volkswagen just rebuilt the Tiguan from the ground up, loaded it with bigger screens, sharper styling, and a heavier tech focus that makes the old model feel almost conservative overnight. On paper, it looks like a serious upgrade, but whenever VW goes all in on software and digital controls, history says it's worth slowing down and asking a few hard questions. This is Scott from CarlandTV, and today we're digging into whether Volkswagen genuinely improved the 2026 Tiguan, or quietly introduced the kind of first-year issues buyers always end up paying for later. But first, do me a quick favor. Tap that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. It ain't required, but those clicks keep this thing rolling and make it easier for me to keep dropping solid car content straight to your screen. Now let's get back into it. What actually changed in the new Tiguan? Volkswagen didn't do a light refresh on the 2026 Tiguan. This is a ground-up redo, and the big headline is the hardware underneath. It's built on the MQB Evo platform, the updated architecture VW uses across its newer gas lineup, which means revised electronics, lighter structure, and a cabin that's a touchscreen-first setup. VW also trimmed weight versus the old one, which helps efficiency and feel. For the U.S. lineup, the powertrain story is clearer than the internet makes it sound. Most trims run a 2.0-liter turbo 4, making 201 horsepower, hooked to an 8-speed automatic. At the top, VW adds the Tiguan SEL R-Line Turbo, and that one jumps to 268 horsepower. That extra punch comes from a hotter EA 888 setup, including a larger turbocharger plus cooling and fueling upgrades, so it's not just a tune. Depending on trim, 4-motion all-wheel drive is available. Inside, VW went hard on tech. The center screen can go huge, up to about 15 inches, with a fully digital gauge cluster and an available head-up display. There's also a console driving experience dial with its own display that controls drive modes and other settings, plus more comfort features depending on trim. Driver Assist is still built around IQ, Drive, and VW's My VW connected services are part of the pitch. On paper, pricing starts around 30 grand. All of that looks clean on a spec sheet, but when the Tiguan leans this much on software, the quality of the interface matters as much as the engine. The infotainment question. The real pressure point on the 2026 Tiguan is the screen stuff, because VW moved even more of the day-to-day controls into that giant center display. On higher trims, you're looking at a 1.5-inch infotainment screen paired with a digital driver display, and it's basically the control tower for everything. When that's smooth, the car feels modern. When it's laggy, it turns basic tasks like climate, audio, and settings into a mini argument with your dashboard. And VW's history here matters. The MQB Evo era had very public growing pains, especially with the Golf MK8 rollout, where VW had to keep pushing software fixes and even hardware upgrades to speed things up. That's not a conspiracy. That's just how it played out when they went heavy on touch-first cabins. VW has also published troubleshooting guidance for owners when screens freeze or go dark, including doing a system reset by holding the power button, which tells you they know the screen is the nerve center and it can hiccup. Now, does that mean the 2026 Tiguan is broken? No cap, that's too dramatic. What I'm watching for is consistency. Reviews are already calling the big screen easy to see and use when it's behaving, but they also point out the same usability annoyances you'd expect with capacitive touch-style controls, especially in real-world conditions like gloves and cold weather. And once you accept the Tiguan is basically a rolling computer now, it naturally puts the spotlight back where it belongs, the mechanical bits underneath. Because software frustration is one thing, but hard parts decide whether you're keeping it past the warranty. The EA 888 engine. Under the hood, the 2026 Tiguan sticks with something VW knows very well. The 2.0-liter EA 888 turbocharged 4-cylinder. In U.S. spec, it makes 201 horsepower in most trims, and up to 268 horsepower in the new SEL R-Line Turbo. That higher output version runs a larger turbocharger, revised engine mapping, and upgraded cooling. This isn't some brand new, untested motor. The EA 888 has been in production for well over a decade across Volkswagen and Audi products, including cars like the Audi A4 and previous Tiguan generations. Now, let's talk about the reputation. Earlier versions of the EA 888, especially Gen 1 and some Gen 2 units, had known issues like water pump failures, thermostat housing leaks, and timing chain tensioner concerns. VW addressed those over time. The The current iteration used in modern models is significantly revised, with integrated exhaust manifolds, improved cooling circuits, and updated chain systems. There is no verified widespread failure trend tied specifically to the 2026 application as of now. Maintenance still matters. Direct injection means carbon buildup can occur over high mileage if maintenance intervals are stretched. Turbocharged engines also depend heavily on oil quality and change frequency. That's not unique to VW, that's just how boosted four cylinders behave. From a mechanical standpoint, the engine itself is not the red flag. The bigger question is long-term durability under higher output in the 268 horsepower tune, and how well owners actually maintain them. That leads directly into the transmission and drivetrain pairing, because power is only half the story. Transmission and drivetrain risk. Transmission talk matters here because people still hear Volkswagen and immediately think dual-clutch drama in the U.S. The 2026 Tiguan is not what you're getting. It runs a conventional 8-speed automatic, not a DSG. That's important. VW's earlier 6-speed and 7-speed DSG units in some models had documented complaints about low-speed hesitation and clutch wear, especially in stop-and-go driving. That reputation stuck. The Tiguan sidesteps that whole conversation in this market. The 8-speed automatic is a torque converter design, which generally handles daily commuting abuse better and feels smoother creeping through traffic. From a durability standpoint, torque converter automatics have a long track record across the industry. They are less sensitive to heat buildup in heavy traffic compared to dry-clutch dual-clutch systems. For buyers worried about jerky engagement or expensive clutch pack replacements, that risk profile is lower here. Now, VW still pairs this with available 4-motion all-wheel drive. That system uses an electronically controlled coupling to send power to the rear when needed. It is not a full-time mechanical center differential setup. Under normal cruising, it runs primarily front-wheel drive to improve efficiency, then shifts torque rearward when slip is detected. That design is common across the segment and not controversial from a reliability standpoint. So, mechanically, the gearbox and all-wheel drive setup are not waving red flags. If something becomes a weak link, it's far more likely to be electronic calibration or software control logic than the hard transmission hardware itself. That naturally brings us to the data side of this conversation. Recall and data reality check. When people say Tiguan trouble, I don't take that at face value. I pull up the receipts. The fastest way is NHTSA's vehicle page for the exact model year. Then I cross-check VW's own VIN recall and service campaign lookup. If a problem is real and safety-related, it shows up there. If it's just vibes from a comment section, it usually disappears the second you look for an actual campaign number. Here's the reality check for the Tiguan conversation. The most concrete, widely reported, Tiguan-specific safety issue in the recent cycle was a recall on 2025 Tiguans tied to the passenger occupant detection system wiring, which could deactivate the front passenger airbag when the seat is occupied. That recall was limited in volume, and it was specific to certain 2025 vehicles, not some sweeping, all Tiguans are cooked situation. What does matter for the 2026 Tiguan is how modern Volkswagens are increasingly software-dependent. VW has had large software-driven recalls recently, like rear-view camera image display glitches across a broad range of VW Group vehicles. That doesn't automatically mean the Tiguan is affected, but it does prove the bigger pattern. When the cabin is basically a computer, fixes can turn into software campaigns instead of old-school wrench work. And that's the perfect setup for the ownership math. Because even when nothing is breaking, the long-term cost and hassle gap versus a RAV4 or CR-V can still be very real. Cost of ownership versus RAV4 and CR-V. Ownership math is where things get less emotional and more practical. When I compare the 2026 Tiguan to a Toyota RAV4 or a Honda CR-V, I'm not just looking at horsepower or screen size. I'm looking at 5-year cost curves, maintenance frequency, and depreciation trends. Historically, Volkswagen parts and labor rates run higher than those of Toyota or Honda in the U.S. market. That's not bias, that's service data and insurance industry averages. Turbocharged direct injection engines like the EA888 require strict oil change discipline, high-quality synthetic oil, and occasional intake cleaning over higher mileage. Meanwhile, Toyota's naturally aspirated 2.5-liter in the RAV4 and Honda's 1.5T or hybrid systems in the CR-V have longer real-world track records in this segment with lower average repair frequency. Depreciation is another factor. Previous generation Tiguans have depreciated faster than RAV4 and CR-V competitors. That impacts resale value if you're not planning to drive it into the ground. Insurance costs also tend to run slightly higher on European-branded vehicles due to parts pricing and repair complexity. None of that means the Tiguan is unreliable. It means long-term ownership may cost more even if nothing catastrophic happens. German engineering usually delivers strong driving dynamics and solid highway composure, but that refinement can come with higher complexity under the skin. So once you accept that the Tiguan's risk profile isn't mechanical panic, but cost structure and electronics dependence, the buying decision becomes less about fear and more about tolerance. That's where the final call lands. Should you wait or buy now? Here's where I land after digging through the specs, recall data, and VW's recent track record. The 2026 Volkswagen Tiguan is not rolling out with some confirmed mechanical disaster attached to it. The EA888 in this application is mature. The 8-speed automatic avoids the old DSG anxiety in the U.S., and there is no verified widespread engine or transmission defect trend tied to this model year. If someone is telling you this thing is falling apart out of the gate, they need to show a campaign number, not a Reddit thread. What you are buying is a heavily software-driven compact SUV from a brand that has had documented infotainment and electronic growing pains in the MQB Evo era. That's the realistic variable. The more VW integrates climate, drive modes, and vehicle settings into one central interface, the more your experience depends on stable code. If updates are smooth and hardware holds up, ownership will feel modern and premium. If glitches creep in, it becomes annoying fast, even if nothing is mechanically broken. My call is simple. If you like the way the Tiguan drives, you value the interior tech, and you're fine staying on top of maintenance, there's no evidence-based reason to panic. If you're the type who wants the lowest possible ownership risk and zero software headaches, waiting a model year or sticking with a RAV4 or CR-V is the safer statistical play. It comes down to how much complexity you're comfortable living with long-term.